giving great information. Homeownership is imperative at this time in this industry. Now, I've been in real estate over 30 years. I am a real estate broker. I am the owner, along with my lovely wife, at the DeVille Realty Group with 3 locations here in the Valley. We have been working with buyers, sellers, and investors. And so if you're an investor today, you're considering getting in on some of the opportunity that's available, understand, right now, the homes are looking well. So if you're thinking about buying, right now it's a great time. We have many homes that have tenants already occupied. So a lot of the sellers are opting to sell the real estate at this time. So if you're thinking of buying as an investment, we also have 4-plex apartment buildings, 10-unit complexes. So there's several different opportunities that are available. So as I was speaking on this morning, and I have taken the liberty of writing down some notes, and I wanted to discuss with you, today, the interest rates right now, conventional, are looking at 3.5%. 3.5% conventional. Now, many of you, you're considering investing into property. Conventional loans would be the route for you to take. Now, many who have not owned a home, you may want to choose to come into the FHA route, which is the Federal Housing Administration. Okay. Now, the Federal Housing Administration, or the FHA, has made in their order, if you will, if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years, you're a first-time buyer. So what does that mean to someone right now who wants to take the opportunity to get in? Now, the actual FHA rate, 3.25%. 3.25% for first-time buyers. That is a wonderful, you're at a low 3%. So what does that mean when you purchase a home right now? 3.25 at $300,000, you're right under $1,000 on a mortgage. That's a great opportunity. Now, understand there are taxes and insurance involved in that process. So we want to make sure we're helping you. Now, if you're thinking about buying a home, there's money down towards your down payment up to $25,000. Let's take the opportunity to get into home ownership. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live. I want to invite you to come in. Any questions you may have, we would love to answer your questions. So please, also, contact us at DeVille Realty, 702-515-4100, or you may contact through text at 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, right here, 3 locations here in the Valley to serve you, whether you're looking to purchase, sell, or investment properties. We at DeVille Realty Group are here to help. Now, for selling your home, right now, sellers are taking advantage of what's available. And I'm telling you, there's a ton of buyers right now that are looking. We're selling homes before we could put them on the market. Last week, I'll tell you what, someone heard the radio broadcast. I do several broadcasts, and heard one of my other shows and gave me a call and wants to sell his home. Well, I have a buyer in the price range. He and I was going to meet that Saturday morning around 10:30. Spoke to him Friday afternoon. We made the appointment to meet and discuss the price. Well, Friday, the same day he called, I was going out with a buyer around 5:30 that evening. And it fit the criteria of what the buyer was looking for. So I did ask, would he mind if I allowed the buyer to see the property? He said, sure, let him come by and take a look. So buyer came by. We looked at a couple homes that day. Buyer came by, and guess what? Loved the property. Now, it's a 5-bedroom home in Providence, gated community, low HOAs, but it met the needs and the criteria of the buyer. Well, long story short, we looked at the property. As we exit the property, the buyer asked, well, how much is it going to be? And I said, I don't know yet. We haven't determined the price. I just wanted you to see the home because tomorrow morning I will be meeting with him to go over what the price should possibly be. So I said, but I'll let you know more tomorrow. He says, well, let me know. I want to purchase this home. I didn't get a chance to list it. I met on Saturday morning with the sellers, and he gave me a price. We went with $400,000 on this particular home. Very nice, very well maintained, new carpet, ceramic tile floors downstairs, wood flooring, and I'll tell you, it's a phenomenal property. Granite counters, artificial turf in the backyards. Am I bragging on this or what? I'm bragging on this property, but it was phenomenal. We left the property after our meeting at 10:30 on Saturday. Well, He gave me the price. I called the buyer from the car. I says, well, the seller has decided on $400,000. He says, I'll take it. Now, granted, I haven't had a chance to list this property. I haven't had the chance to put it on the market. And I've already got a buyer. That's how the Las Vegas market is right now. So if you're considering selling your home, now is the time. Take advantage of they didn't even have to show the home. Now, at DeVille Realty, we have several buyers on standby. I've got some clients out of New York right now. They're in town for the next couple of weeks looking for home purchasing, right? They're looking for 2 stories. They also want to have a pool, and they want the master bedroom downstairs. So if you're thinking about selling and you don't want a 2-story anymore, you don't even use the pool, but you're considering selling the property, let me ask you this. Would you consider selling your home? We've got buyers right now at $500,000. I mean, we probably could push the envelope, but I'll tell you what. Make a contact to DeVille Realty, 702-515-4100, or contact me directly at 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, the name you need to know right here in the Valley. We're excited about what the Valley is doing. It's a great market. It's a great opportunity. And now is the time to sell. The other option you have in selling right now is you may want to downsize or upsize, but simply using the equity that's in your property. Now, using the equity will allow you to not touch anything in your savings, not move any money out of your checking account, not touch your 401k, but simply using the equity you have in your current property. Now, what you're going to do is contact me at what number did I say? 702-787-7559. We're going to make a time to meet and go over the comparative market analysis. Let's find out where the values are on your property. Now, we don't want to say, well, my neighbor's home is for sale. That price doesn't mean anything. The price that we're determining from are properties that have sold properties to make comparative market analysis. Okay, it's got to be comparable, square footage, location, within a mile radius, zip code. We'll use all that. It'll be within that mile in your zip code. Say your home is 3,200 square feet. Well, guess what? We're going to match it to a home with at least 3,000 to 3,300 square feet that's sold in the last 6 months. Those are the things that appraisers are looking for to determine value. So we're going to do just that for you to determine value. Like the home in Providence we got, it's recently just $399 was the home, that exact square footage, really literally around the corner, $399. So he says $400. That's about and it just closed in January. So you're not going to get a whole lot more. We look at, they had granite counters, same home, just around the corner. A lot of the track models are the same. And so, but again, you can price it where you want, but remember, it's predicated on the appraisal value. The appraisal or the appraiser determines the value of your property. You can say you want $475 for a home that recently closed at $399. Well, guess what? You'll be out there. You'll be like the gentleman who had his home on the market for 100 days. 100 days. Well, the reason for it in many cases, you're overpriced. I know you put all these upgrades, and I'm sorry that no one told you don't over exceed the community or the market, because you've overvalued your home in your community, and now you can't get what you've put into it. So just letting you know right now, the value is determined per the appraisal. Lenders lend per the appraisal value, not what the seller wants for the property. Of course, you tell me you want a certain number, I'm going to do it. But I'm also going to say, if we don't get that number within the next 2 weeks, let's reevaluate the price on the property. We can start here, but let's go back and let's consider maybe we're not getting any showings on the property because we're not at the property value. So again, we're talking about selling your home, use your equity, purchase another home. We've done this several times. Shouts out to Mrs. Evans. Miss Evans, 3-story in Providence, no longer wants 3 stories. Beautiful home, top deck view, 360 view of the city, gorgeous. But Miss Evans decided to retire this year during the pandemic. And she says, I no longer need this 3-story home, so here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take the opportunity to sell, Mr. DeVille, because I've heard you on the radio and I've heard you mention this. She says it fits what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to get out of in this property and get into a single story. So we simply, not using any monies from her saving or her checking or her retirement funds, guess what? We simply use the equity that's in her home. Now remember, when you're renting, you're paying someone's mortgage and they're getting the equity. And so now you're getting notice from the sellers and landlords that guess what? They're selling the property. So what do you need? You've got to move. So let's do this. Let's get you your own home so that now you don't have anyone contacting you saying, we're looking to sell. Now you've got to move. Or to the gentleman who's paid the guy's mortgage off. If you've paid the gentleman's mortgage off, guess what? My question is, do they ever go back and thank you? Do they ever tell you, you paid off the mortgage? Man, you just paid my mortgage off. Do we find out if they ever, do we ever find out, we've been there 10 years, right? Did we pay it off yet? I know you had it a while before I came, and now you rent, but they never tell us. I know my landlord, I rented for 3 years at $1,500 a month in Centennial, and guess what? I gave him $54,000 in 3 years. I found out he only paid $180 during the decline of the market of 2007. So if I was there 3 years and I paid $54,000, another tenant was there because before I moved in, they were renting it for the same amount. Let's say he was there for 3 years. 54 is what, 108? And now he's got it rented for $2,000. He's rented for $2,000 a month. The rents have gone up, you all. Understand, when you own a home, you're on a fixed rate. No more looking at, the rates changing or, interest. You're at a fixed rate. Now, again, what caused the balloon? Because many people say, well, I'll just wait until the market balloons out. Well, let me tell you this. We don't have any more predatory lending. We don't have any more stated income. Okay, we don't have any more access to the appraisers. These were the things, the interest-only loans. Now, there are interest-only loans, but only to the savvy investors, not the homeowners, not those that are purchasing. So we're doing away with this balloon that we fell into back in 07 and 08. Okay, that big decline that we ran into. Okay, many went to prison because they were overinflating the prices. The appraisers were overinflating as well. And realtors were just going with whatever the appraiser said, and it was above really the market. And so a lot are paying their dues in a jail cell behind it. So now we don't have any more access to what? Appraisers. We don't have any more interest only that buyers for owner occupants. They don't advise it. And if you're going to be an FHA, you're going to be conventional. Listen, veterans, you can't do interest only anymore. Now, an investor, very well. Okay, but we want to be on it behooves you to be on a fixed rate. Now, I mentioned to you a moment ago, hot off the press. Can I say that? Hot off the press. This morning, I spoke to one of my lenders as I was en route to the radio show, and I said, I need you to text me today's rates for home buyers, and where would the interest rates be for a first-time buyer? Right now, first-time buyer, 3.25. Now, it's not at an all-time low because just in December, early January, we were at a 2.875. In fact, we went down to a 2.6. That's an all-time low. But now we're trickling up, but we're still low. Now, again, FHA, first-time buyers, or those of you that have purchased, but it's been longer than 3 years. Or if you've bankrupt, let me speak to that. Because if you bankrupt, you very well can own a home again. Okay, we want to help you do that. We want to get you back into home ownership. Don't keep paying the landlord's mortgage. If you have a Land Rover and a landlord, I want to hear from you. 702-787-7559. If you have a Jaguar and a landlord, I want to hear from you. If you got a big body Mercedes and you're paying rent, your mortgage payment is equal to your rent. A big body Mercedes, the mortgage, the car note is like $890 to $1,000. The insurance on that car is roughly $300 to $600 full coverage. So you're paying roughly $1,200 to $1,300 a month to drive that big body car that you're driving. But you're paying someone else's mortgage. You're paying the car off. You'll own the car, but you're renting a house you'll never own. And you may have to move while you're paying that car off and find another home. I'm just here to help. Can I get an amen? I'm just here to help. 702-787-7559. Having too much fun in the studio. But listen, FHA, first time buyers, right? Or those of you who haven't owned the last 3 years, but you currently, you don't own a house, okay? You want to get back in the home ownership game. If that's you, I can get you a rate as low as 3.25. That's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Now, veterans, let me speak to you veterans. We appreciate your service. Thank you for what you've done for this great country and giving your time. But I want to say to you, you have, I know back in the day they used to say a GI Bill. They say, yeah, I pay $1 down. Well, let me tell you this. It's not $1 down. It's $0 down. So and if it were $1, give $1, get a house. Can we say it? Give $1, get a house. Listen, use your benefit. You've been awarded a certificate that gives you the opportunity to get your own home. Can we do that? Can we get you your own home? I want to do it. Veterans, if you're listening, 702-787-7559. Someone said, slow down, young man. You're going too fast. 702-787-7559. Someone says, I'm too old now. Let me tell you this. I just sold a lady, she got her keys on her birthday and she turned 81 years old. Shouts out to Miss Ruth. Shouts out to Miss Ruth. She heard the radio show. She said, young man, you're pretty motivational. She says, you make a lot of sense. I'm paying someone's mortgage and I could be building that equity for myself. And she took the liberty of getting, finance, getting a loan done. She got approved. Listen, even if you're 75, you're going to pay rent. So why keep pouring into it? So you pay rent to pay his house off before you leave Earth. So you pay his mortgage, and then you just get somebody else to come in and keep paying the mortgage and pay the house off. You've been there for years. You paid the mortgage. Now, I respectfully say this. If you're a senior and you do not own a home and you're a veteran, please, ma'am, sir, and if you're a widow of a veteran and you were married at the time of their demise and you're receiving their benefits, you're receiving their pension, you very well could utilize their benefits to get into a home. Someone just said, I didn't know that. So stop paying the landlord's mortgage, paying off his home. I have families that have been there 10 years. One guy told me he was there for 20 years in a house. Now, granted, he's only paying $700 a month, but, he's been there 20 years. And he said, Mr. DeVille, I'd like to get him. Guess what? He owns a home today. He owns a home today not far from where he was living for all those years. Guess what? He owns a home simply hearing us on the radio. This is what we do. We want to give you and expose you to information this isn't new. We just haven't been privy to understand a lot of this. This isn't new stuff, I'm telling you. I'm just here to encourage you, inspire you, and motivate you to make a move. What's that move I want you to make? Contact me at 702-787-7559. Veterans, your interest rates right now, you ready for it? 3.125. Now, again, you're in the low threes. Those numbers are great. So $300,000 home, the median home price right now is about $370,000. But I like using the number 3. It's just easier on my numbers when I'm doing the radio. But $300,000, 3.125, come on. You're under $1,000 a month for a mortgage. Come on, you're paying more than that. Now, I know you love the home you're in, but it's not your home. You're paying for someone else's mortgage. Let's get your own home. It may not be as lavish as what you're paying, but guess what? You're paying money in your own pocket. You're creating generational wealth. You're creating equity. Every time you pay rent, you pay a mortgage, you pay down the principal. Guess what that means? In 5 years, you have, let me use my home. My wife and I bought 4 years ago. We got back into real estate. We fell into the decline of the market, as many have. Guess what? But we're back now. Now we're 4 years in. December made 4 years for us. Guess what? Now we have over $100,000 in equity. Now, if we were renting, guess who would have that equity? Guess who would have that equity? That's right. And did I say when I was renting for $1,500 for those 3 years, I paid $54,000? Well, I got a phone call from a gentleman after the show. He said, but DeVille, I've been here 5 years at $1,500. I pulled the car over, pulled out the calculator. I said, sir, it shows $90,000 that you paid to the landlord. $90,000. You've literally almost paid half. So when you move out, we sold him a home, by the way, just FYI. We did sell him a home. He said, man, I got to get out of here. And the mortgage that he ended up getting, I think, was like $120 more than he was already paying. But he's been there a few years now. Guess what? Guess what he has? He has what he was giving the landlord. He has it. It's called equity. If that's you today, you're listening to me via Facebook, live on the radio. The contact information, 702-787-7559. Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. Listen, I want to give a big shout out to my lovely, beautiful wife, Marquetta DeVille. She's at the office on standby to take your call, 702-787-7559. We're at Team DeVille. We've been in the Valley. Guess what? I've been in real estate over 30 years. I'm not a young buck at this. Okay, I've been around the block. I've been around the block. And so I kind of know what I'm speaking about, okay? So guess what? Lenders, I have about 9 lenders we use. Because via radio, Facebook, and all the social media that we do, we get tons of calls. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to be next in line to get what's due you. 2 years minimal on the job is all that's required. Your debt to income ratio. I have programs available as well. Did I mention that? So we have no money down up to $25,000. I have a new program that's coming out this Monday. It's called the Wish. Well, it's not new. It's just they ran out of funds. When they run out of funds, we don't have the funds to give. But now this program is coming back. It's called the Wish. It's a 3-to-1 match. You put up 5, they put up 15. 3 to your 1. That makes $20,000 towards your down payment. Now listen, we have avenues by which to get funding for you. Now, let's talk about for a moment credit. Now, many of you are going to be getting your tax refunds. Now, you just had Christmas. I want you to take your I'm being a parent now. I want you to take your taxes and I want you to pay some debt. Because I want your debt ratio to become small so that your buying power becomes larger. Gives you more options on purchasing a home. So while you just had Christmas and somebody's getting stimulus, you probably only owe $1,200 in back debt. I mean, it's just those little $40,000, $50,000, $80,000. You didn't pay a phone bill for your kid. The phone got shut off, and guess what they did? The collection company put it on your credit report. You'd be like, I could pay. I saw something on my report, and my lender said, were you aware you went to get some blood drawn, and you forgot to pay the $217? I said, I wasn't even aware. She said, I need you to pay that because it's on your credit report. We wrote the check so quick. The mailman, it was sitting there waiting for him to come. Okay, so those little things, if you don't know what to pay, don't pay everything. The lender is going to tell you exactly what to do. You need to contact my office, 702-787-7559. We'll set you with a lender who will do a free credit evaluation with you. Let's find out what exactly you need to do. Because I met a gentleman who inherited some money. He said, I'll just pay everything. I said, no, we don't need everything paid. We need those things that go against, like medical is not a credit. Okay, medical bills, it'll go against your credit, but it's not as a debt like a credit card. The lenders are looking for your ability to pay back debt. Okay, now the debt is the credit card, the Macy's, all the big companies that we go out and charge it up. He wants to see, can you pay, and your ability to pay. Now, when I purchased a home, because I cleaned my credit, I didn't have any trade lines. Well, trade line is showing your trade history, your ability, your history of paying. I didn't have any history. My credit was wiped clean, so I didn't have anything. So no credit is worse than bad credit. I'll say that again. No credit is worse than bad credit. Because at least bad credit, I know you don't pay. No credit, I don't know what you might do. So, we want to develop a trade line, a history. So because I didn't have anything, the lender said, DeVille, I'm going to put you on a night. I want you to get 2 credit cards. She says, you have some IRS tax. I need you to make payment arrangements with them, pay them for 3 months. I need you to get 2 credit cards, and I need you to use them. Stay up under a third. So I got 2 $500 credit cards, and guess what? We use them just for gas, some small grocery. For 90 days, she said, if you do what I'm telling you, in 90 days, you'll be good. I can now see your history. On the 94th day, we were approved to purchase. We're 4 years in. With over $100,000 in equity. But did I mention that? Did I rub that in? I just want to rub it in so you're aware that we stopped paying another man's mortgage and giving him equity. I want you to stop. 2021, it's still early in the year. You're going to get stimulus. You're going to get tax refunds. Use that money wisely. You need another purse like you need a hole in your head. You need another shoe like you need a hole in your head. You don't need it. You just had Christmas. Why don't you get some property? I'm just making suggestions to you. Not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you what to do. Okay? Be smart. We've been too long paying these other folks' mortgage. We've been too long doing it the same old way, never getting ahead. Now, with the equity we have in a home, what we're looking to do is take that 100 and buy investment property. We want to put $100,000 on a $350,000 fourplex. So we're only going to finance, guess what? $250,000. With these interest rates on a conventional 3.5. 3.5 at a 250. Come on, you guys. I'm excited. I'm excited because someone informed me, even as a realtor, I wasn't aware how the rent was going. Somebody mentioned it to me one day. I said, DeVille, how long were you living in that property? He says, man, he just happened to do the math. And when he showed me that, I'm like, wow, you're right. So that guy, that doctor who bought that home in Centennial that I was renting, it's paid off. But guess how he did it? Not from his money. He paid it off from the tenants renting the property over the course of the years. So guess what? It doesn't behoove him to sell. It's a free and clear property that has a residual income. Maybe you need residual income. You need investment properties. If that's you, you're listening to me live via Facebook or you're hearing me live on the radio. Listen, 702-787-7559, or you can contact my Northwest location, 702-515-4100. We have a Green Valley office, a Boca Park, Summerlin, as well as our Northwest location. We're all around the valley to assist you. Listen, we just want to help. 702-787-7559. So again, conventional right now, 3.5%. It's a great time to get in. We want to help you do it. Is that all right? Now, I want to take a moment to pause and just take a small break here. Okay, wet my whistle. I'll be back with you momentarily again, 702-787-7559.